Hey, what's going on out there, Junkies? It's Kenshiro. We're back with Culture Junkies Live. We hope you had a great time this weekend, but obviously the show today is going to be about The Flash. The Flash is back, so I wanted to chop it up with you guys that watched the show, that just got to watch the show, and lead us right into the main topics that we're going to talk about. Actually, the main topic is The Flash, but joining me, obviously, is the great Adakuji. What's up, brother?
You know, being great.
Being great, as always, right? Right.
Yeah.
Right. So anyway,
that's right.
Yeah. So anyway, we have a lot of things to talk about. Not only The Flash, but obviously we had a couple of really hype trailers drop over the weekend. We also had the New York City Comic-Con happen this past weekend, which dropped some pretty interesting trailers for everybody to be paying attention to. So we're going to highlight those and also talk about the stuff that's going to be coming out this week. But obviously, first thing we're going to talk about is The Flash. So let me go ahead and get right to that. The Flash being back. Season 4, where we left off was that Savitar was finally defeated. Caitlin was Killer Frost, or not Killer Frost, and you know, she kind of left the team, and Barry ended up being trapped in the Speed Force because, well, things being what they were, they needed someone to hold him, and he had to go away. And so the team kind of broke up, and that's where we left off. But this season 5 started off, it was a little bit different because one of the things that Barry asked Iris to do at the end of the show, or at the end of the season last season, was to talk about excuse me, one of the things that that Barry asked Iris to do was to go ahead and keep running, basically to not give up and to make sure that that she held down the fort, and she managed to do that by taking over Team Flash and kind of running the show. Cedric House is over there on YouTube. He's checking in. Want to say hello. We'll talk about that in a little while. He's talking about Runaways. But did you, before we get too deep into The Flash, did you end up watching the rest of season 4 after it kind of got finished? I mean, season 3 after it got finished? What'd you think?
Yeah, I watched all of it. I thought it was really good for the most part, even though I'm starting to get tired of whiny Barry and him not being, you know, I mean, I understand that he's still, I guess, trying to learn how to be a superhero, but you think after 3 years or how many ever years he is in his universe, you know, been 3 seasons with us, that he gets stuff, you know, right, I guess, and stop trying to screw up time and, you know, being able to portray. He just, you know, he just coming off like a whiny little bitch. And hopefully that'll change, because Savitar seemed like the ultimate whiny bitch. Oh, this happened to me, so I'm gonna kill everybody. Man.
I mean,
so shut the fuck up, man.
I mean, really, the reason for that obviously was because Savitar ended up being Barry. So
yeah, exactly. So it's just like, you know, that doesn't seem like, okay, I don't read the comics. I know of them, of course. Most of my Flash comes from the cartoons, and he just doesn't seem like that's that personality. And from my understanding, the cartoons, his personality is a lot closer to the comic books, I'd assume, where he's like, you know, he has a lot of tragic stuff get to him, but he doesn't put that on the surface. The stuff that he puts on the surface is more, I won't say silly, but, you know, just, I guess, somebody who is, you know, happy-go-lucky, I guess. That's what it seems like, even though, you know, he's had some tragic shit happen to him.
Right.
And they did that the opposite for the TV show. That's not saying I don't like the show. I want them to change his character a little bit, if you know what I mean.
Oh no, I totally get you, and I think that was one of the main gripes that a lot of people had with the Flash, was that, you know, Barry was too whiny. He relied a little bit too much on the team. There was just a lot of things that people just didn't like, and we were hoping that hopefully they were going to end up, addressing a lot of those things in this season. And that was one of the reports that one of the producers actually did say that they were going to address, that they were going to try and address some of the problems that people had with the Flash in general. One of them being Whiny Berry, but another thing being that they wanted to move away from focusing on speedsters, and speedsters always being the villain. First season we had the Reverse Flash. Second season we had Zoom. Third season we had Savitar. So hey,
Captain Boomerang's coming.
Captain Boomerang. It's funny. It's funny you say that. Captain Boomerang was a part of the. How do you want to put it? Was a part of the first season, not the first season of Flash, maybe the second season, but he was on Arrow as part of like Suicide Squad, and he never really crossed over in being a Flash villain. That's one thing that I do miss. I do miss that they never really did that. But let's talk about this season. What happened? Well, when the season opened, obviously Cisco and Wally have taken over for protecting Central City, they as Kid Flash and Vibe respectively. And they were doing I guess an adequate job, but it wasn't the best job. I mean, they're not the Flash. Obviously, that was they're not the Flash. They're not, or he's not the Flash. They're not the Flash. So the Flash is supposed to be the best. Even though a lot of people probably would say, what's the word I want to use? A lot of people probably say that Barry didn't really come up. Did you ever get the feeling that Barry was ever that good at being the hero or the protector of the city?
Nope,
I kind of felt that way too a little bit. I kind of did. I kind of felt that way. But in any case, when Barry and when Wally and Vibe run across and they stop Peekaboo, who's a recurring villain, which is, that's something that I kind of appreciate, is that what's the word I'm looking for? They're reusing some of their villains. They're not like killing them off or something like that. They come back to haunt them again, like a real Rogues Gallery is supposed to do. We've seen Captain Cold numerous times. We've seen Peekaboo a couple of times. We've seen Reverse Flash a couple of times. I like that, and I hope they keep that going. Grodd, of course, every single season, Grodd has been in there. But now we have a new villain, and it's the first appearance we had was this weird samurai guy terrorizing the
Silver Samurai.
No,
I'm just joking. Just joking. I know that's Marvel. I'm not that ignorant in the comics.
Yeah, it's not the Silver Samurai.
Marvel.
That's absolutely not the Silver Samurai, right?
Yeah.
Here's something that Fallen Marvel actually brings up, and I think it's a very great point. They need to give Wally more shine. And one of the things, and let me continue with my kind of critique of this first episode. This weird samurai guy comes and says, hey, if the Flash doesn't show up in 24 hours, I'm gonna destroy the city. Now, obviously, we saw from the trailers that Cisco was gonna have this mad diabolical plan to bring Barry back, and that happens. They do get Barry back, right? But he's not quite Barry. He's not all there. Like, he comes out, and I think as Cisco kind of said it, it was like a beautiful mind. Like, he was. Remember in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. season 2 when Coulson got injected with the blood, and he started like scribbling on the walls and stuff like that. Yeah, Barry was doing that after he came out. Like, literally, he was scribbling a bunch of stuff all over the walls. He was scribbling, against, the containment unit doors. He was scribbling on, the chalkboard in the science lab. And it was like everybody was thinking, well, Cisco thought he was trying to give him a message and stuff like that, but it ended up not being that way. He wasn't giving him a message at all. He was just. It seemed like he was crazy, and they thought that
crazy Barry.
Yeah, they thought that he wasn't. All the way back. But, the story, long story short, things ended up being exactly what we thought. Barry ends up coming back. But here's the twist. And what was the other gripe that we kind of had about the Flash, right? He never really seemed to be, for all his protestations of being the fastest man alive, he never seemed to be the fastest man alive, right?
I saw him chase a motorcycle once. And I said, wait, what? Because motorcycles, in a city are not going top speed, which could be 120, 180 miles an hour. Maybe they're probably going like 30 because they're going on streets and turning down alleys. And he was chasing motorcycle. Right. And I said, that's not, fast for a human, most definitely, but he should be in front of the motorcycle at all times. And
right.
stuff. Yeah, no, they never
No.
really portrayed him being fast.
The fastest man alive. Well, apparently, maybe they are finally getting ready to move past that, because when he came out, he actually, they were saying that he was moving faster than anybody had ever seen. Anybody they'd ever charted, he was moving faster than them. So one of the things that the producers said leading up to this season premiere was that we were finally going to get the comic book version of Barry, where I guess cool. Where he's going to be moving all fast, and he's going to be really really in tune with his powers and stuff like that. So I guess I'm looking forward to that. We didn't really get a full inclination of whether that was going to be the case or not. So we'll have to see. But I want to talk about the villain briefly before we move on. One of the things that we saw this year, or with this villain, was that he seemed to be a thinker type. The samurai that I talked about, he ended up being spoiler alert for those of you that haven't seen it. He ended up being a robot. He ended up being and so he was a creation. And this guy, I guess, is probably going to be sending a whole bunch of enemies at Barry to get him off of his game, and he's going to have to really outthink this guy. So we'll see where it goes. So Marcus Smith, hello, how are you doing? Let's see. Any junkies got any comments on the show that you guys saw? What did you think of the premiere of The Flash this week? And what do we want to see moving forward? Because I think, as Kyle Q. Jackson alluded to, his Fallen Marvel, he said he wanted to see Wally get a little more shine. Iris kind of has this, had this really like serious business attitude. As throughout the entire episode, like she was like completely no nonsense. She really took control of the team and kept them organized and tried to keep the city safe. And I appreciate that about her. It showed a little bit of growth. But who was someone else that you kind of like from season 3 last year?
What's Vibe's girlfriend that he's trying to hook up with?
Gypsy.
Is that who she is? The one from the other dimension that has the exact same powers as him?
Yes.
I think she was kind of cool. I don't really remember like all the villains that were not Savitar and all that good stuff. Did they get rid of Malfoy yet? Or was he there? Yes,
he is not gone. He is gone now, which is unfortunate because I liked his character. I thought he was pretty cool.
I didn't understand his character. I don't know why he was there. I get that he was there because he was Savitar was using him for whatever reason. But they could have done that with anybody. Seriously, they didn't have to have somebody who's also forensics to do that. But whenever I watch a series, I don't necessarily look like if they do something good in the past, I want them to keep going, of course. But if there are things that are going to keep me hooked, that's what I want them to do, because it's too difficult to mess up. Not too difficult. It's too easy, it seems nowadays, to mess up a show. And you just don't want to watch it anymore. And I don't want that to happen with The Flash. Today, I completely forgot. I was eating dinner with my wife, and then I came down here for the pre-show. And you're like, oh, I'm watching it. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot. But I mean, if I don't watch it live, I have to watch it in the morning or the next day or whenever friggin' CW puts it out on their app. Because
it'll probably be out tomorrow. More likely,
it should be on there right now. One thing I like about
live
HBO,
streaming,
it's not just live, but HBO for Game of Thrones, for example. I don't have cable. When the show airs on cable for people, it's on their app. Why would you have to wait? Because it's 9 o'clock. It's the time for the show. So it's not like you can watch it faster.
Right. No, I get you. No, I totally get that. And that brings up a very valid point. Now, Marcus Smith hates that Julian isn't on the show. Tony Minner hopes that we get a more confident Flash this season, which would be great, which speaks to your critique of having the whiny, not confident Barry. Hopefully that also factors in. That should be great. So junkies, keep commenting on the Flash. What do you think? What do you hope seeing from the show? Here's one other character that I actually really, really liked last season. I felt like she was kind of a breakout. And that was, Caitlin Snow, basically as Killer Frost. I mean, I'm telling you, man, she is so much better as Killer Frost. Do you remember some of the episodes last season that they had?
Oh yeah. Now that you jog my memory, I do like that. I don't understand the dilemma that she has because she has these powers. The dilemma is when she doesn't use her powers, she's nice and sweet and a doctor and helpful. And so she has cold power. She wants to go out and kill people.
Right.
That doesn't make any sense. Now, if they could develop that, it would make sense to me. There's no reason. Barry has powers. He doesn't want to go out and kill people. You know, Cisco has powers. He doesn't want to go out and kill people. And she sees these two people doing good with their powers. As soon as her power, she wants to go out and kill people. Makes no sense whatsoever. I guess she's Killer Frost in other realms, universes. I get she's Killer Frost in the comics and all that other stuff. But they could have explained it a little bit better why she wants to go out and kill people.
Okay, I mean that's fair. I think it's just a kind of like a split personality, like she's cold-hearted and stuff like that, and that actually does play out in this episode. I mean, Danielle Panabaker, you know, she looks like kind of homey or whatever. I guess you could kind of say, and kind of like nice and like real ladylike. But I prefer her so much better as Killer Frost. Like she's better. She's totally better. She's a much better character, and you know we saw a little glimpse of that this episode. And I think now it's developed into full blown split personality. So we'll have to see where that develops. Let's see. Joe is kind of just there, so we'll see what we have. But I mean, really, like, you know, I wouldn't say kill him off, because actually I thought that's where they were going to go last season, but they didn't end up doing that. So I don't know. We'll have to see. As first episodes go, Marcus Smith even said it was okay, good, but not absolutely great. And I have to agree with that assessment. It wasn't, you know, the best, you know, ever. So in any case, that was that. So let's move on. We got a lot of stuff to cover. So we want to thank you all for joining us. We're on Twitch, we're on YouTube, and obviously we're on Facebook as well, if you follow us on those channels. But let's get a little bit to the news of the nation, man. And some of the news of the nation has to do with the New York Comic Con, and we actually saw some really cool trailers of some new TV shows that are getting ready to come out. And one of the first ones that we're going to be talking about is what is it? It's Castle Rock, and it's a J.J. Abrams produced anthology show based around Stephen King's stories. So anthology shows, you remember like back in the day, like in the 80s when we were growing up, we had Amazing Stories. You remember Amazing Stories like that were done by Steven Spielberg?
I only remember one episode, but I remember Amazing Stories.
Right, or even what's it called? What was that one? Even like Tales from the Dark Side, or even Tales from the Crypt. Those are all anthology shows. Well, this one's based all around Stephen King, and phenomenal writer, legendary writer. So I'm actually looking forward to this. I think this could be pretty cool. I think that.
Well, me personally, I like anthology shows because one of the things about TV, as I might have already stated, is it can get stale after a while. And anthology shows, you either have a good episode or a bad episode. So I'm looking forward to watching it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really good. Another one that we had, or another one that they talked about, was this movie. It's starring Keanu Reeves. It's called Replicas, and he's a scientist, and he ends up losing his family, but human cloning is outlawed. And he can't deal with the pain of losing his family, so he clones them all, like his wife and his kids. I mean, they're all clones, and they don't even know it. Like the wife and the kids, they don't even know they're clones and replicas. But the trailer, if you haven't seen it, it looks really good. Now, I bring this up because obviously we just had Blade Runner 2049 just come out this past weekend. I think it didn't do that well in the movie theaters, so
still number 1 in the world, even though it didn't do as well as they expected it to.
Yeah, so it didn't do very well in the movie theaters, but this Replicas obviously is another sci-fi movie, but it's a sci-fi thriller. Same people that did Passengers, and same executive producers of Passengers and Transformers. That's not necessarily a good thing in most instances, but this looks really good. When you saw the trailer, what did you think of it?
Well, the first thing I thought was Blade Runner, because I was like, well, this is how the replicants started. They're not quite, because I don't think they're quite clones. Because I was wondering why they were showing that android bodies. I was thinking they were like Terminator. They got a skeleton,
an exoskeleton.
Like, yeah, exoskeleton, but there's an endoskeleton. Anyway, it kind of reminded me of that, like, this is how Blade Runner starts. But I think it's going to be a very interesting movie because I want to see where they're going from it. What gives it away where he's starting to get hunted by the law and what's going on. I mean, you get why he did what he did, but I want to see, you know, how everything goes together and how he gets out of it. And does he get out of it? And, you know, is he going to lose his family again? Which part of me thinks that's more than likely what's going to happen. But I want to go see the movie. I look forward to seeing something, specifically Keanu Reeves, because I want to.
He's been killing it of late. Yeah, Keanu Reeves. He's been killing it, like, with, you know, between this and John Wick and some of the other stuff that he's done. I mean, man, he has really been killing it. Junkies, do make sure you let us know what you think of some of the stuff, some of these trailers that we're showing. If you happen to see them, do leave your comments and let us know what you think. Let's see. The next trailer that we had out of coming out of New York City Comic-Con was the X-Files season 11. Did you watch the X-Files? Like, have you watched the X-Files really at all?
Not since the 90s.
So you didn't watch season 10 from like a couple years ago?
Oh no, not at all. I mean,
oh dude, it was so good, and I didn't really watch the X-Files like that.
I like the X-Files, and because of streaming, I said, you know, I could always go back and watch it, which I may or may not. I don't know. It's like after the 90s kind of left and gone, when you have that long of a hiatus, it's not something that really piques my interest, because it seems like they're doing it to fill something that they should have did a long time ago. I mean, the movie, of course, didn't do all that well. They should have ended the series the way they wanted to end the series back then. Why bring it back after, what, you know, almost 20 years, if not that? I don't know exactly when it went off the air. Was it like in the year 2000, 17, 15 year, whatever it is? It's just too long to bring a TV series back. Doesn't mean it's not good, and I won't give it a chance. There's other stuff that came along that have piqued my interest that it pushes that down on the bottom. Seriously.
No, I can understand that, but you know, it's coming from someone that I don't want to say I missed the wave when the X-Files came out the first time, but coming from someone that kind of kept a, I don't want to say it was like a kind of a absentee glance on the X-Files, if that's a good word to use for it. Like I watched the final season with Robert Patrick. And I kind of liked the show. I started to fall in love with it, but I didn't go back and watch the prior episodes and catch up when what made it a cult classic. But then I did watch season 10, and I thought it was really, really good, really well done. And I was very eager to see where it would go after that season was over. And now we're finally going to get it, you know, coming out in 2018, and I think it's well overdue. And I think hopefully they're probably going to wrap a lot of things up. We're going to find Mulder and Scully's son, who I assume is an alien, I guess.
That's one thing that just I don't get. I get that they're partners. That doesn't necessarily mean they have to put them in a romantic relationship just because they've been partners for a very long time. I don't know. It just seems like it's too formulaic.
It's a trope. It's a trope. But yeah, I get it. Yeah, it's a trope. That would bother me too. I totally get that. The next movie or the next thing that we saw from New York City Comic-Con was the Pacific Rim Uprising trailer. This thing came out, I think it was like on Friday they first showed this thing, and it looked fantastic. This thing looks like it might be better than the first movie. What do you think?
Yeah. Well, I do think it might be better than the first movie, specifically with the special effects and the action and fighting. I want to understand what happened, because I thought they sealed that rift where the kaiju were coming in. So I want to know how it opened back up. I want to know, you know, the initiative, how they got started back again, or did they keep it going, or did it never end, or what have you. And I want to know if they're going to have like combiners, because
I thought that same thing, dude.
But it felt like they're going to have combiner robots, like friggin' like Transformers or Voltron or something like that. I'm like, what the heck is going on? And normally, I don't get excited about giant robot anything. You know, there's only like 2 anime that I watch, this giant robot, and I know there's tons of them out there. Neon Genesis Evangelion is not about the robots, and Big O I thought was really good. But this right here piques my interest, and when it comes out, if I believe it was March 23rd, I think I'll be sitting in that seat trying to enjoy Pacific Rim, and I'm pretty sure, and I hope that John Boyega won't let me down, because
man,
so far he hasn't.
Speaking of somebody that's been killing it, I mean, he's been killing it too. You know, whether it be Finn, whether it be a couple of the other projects that he's been in, and then taking over for Idris Elba in this film, in this franchise. Oh man, it looks great. It absolutely looks great. And remember how we've been talking about how sci-fi needs a win, and we thought even the first Pacific Rim was kind of like it wasn't really well received. I feel like I'm encouraged that they're not giving up on sci-fi. They're still putting out these big, you know, sci-fi, you know, spectacles that aren't Star Wars or Star Trek. And this being one, and I hope this really kicks off a wave of new sci-fi franchises, because we need it, man. I mean, I think it would be great, especially even giant robots.
Because for those who do not go see Blade Runner over the weekend, I suggest going to see it, specifically if you've seen the first one. If you didn't see the first one, sit down and watch the first one. It's not like, it is a sequel. It's not a movie that's spawning a new, and what you call it. The only reason why I mentioned going to go see it is because sci-fi needs a win, and it was a good movie. Because if you're looking at past, a lot of sci-fi movies have not been making their mark, and even the big name ones haven't been making their mark, like Star Trek. Star Wars always does it. And what was that? I mean, just the big budget sci-fi movies, just nobody's going to see them. And if you like sci-fi, you gotta put your hat in the game, or whatever those cliche words are. Go enjoy it, because this one right here is a different kind of sci-fi. It's probably going to be a little bit more action oriented than, you know, thought provoking. But
absolutely,
you gotta go see them. I really want to go see Pacific Rim.
You gotta support them, man.
And and I'm going to be sitting in some theater seats on a lot of sci-fi movies, because, like, not replicants, I want to call it, what's it called?
Replicas?
Yeah,
Replicas?
Yeah, Replicas. Yeah. That's a science fiction movie. And, you know, I want to see, because when we give our dollars to it, we'll get more. Maybe we'll get some really good ones out there.
I mean, that's literally how it works. That's how it works. Exactly. So, yeah, this was, out of all the trailers that came out this past weekend, this one, we're gonna have to rank these, you know, later, that we because we're gonna get to, you brought up Star Wars and stuff, so we're gonna talk about Star Wars later. We're also gonna talk about Justice League later, so hold tight. We're gonna give you our thoughts on that in a little while. Moving on to the next trailer that we had coming out of New York City Comic-Con. This was a movie. This is the series Jack Ryan, starring John Krasinski. I mean, when you think John Krasinski, you don't necessarily think like action hero, right?
Who's that?
Who's that? He kind of caught me off guard with that one. John Krasinski. He was in he was from The Office, I believe.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was he was like one of the two main like love interests. I mean, not love interests, but it was him and another girl. I mean, of course it was Steve Carell, but it was him and, you know, another girl in The Office. And you know, Junkies, please do help me out with the names. I didn't watch The Office, like I didn't watch Fifth Element. So
see, talk about science fiction.
Yeah, I didn't watch that. But anyway, this one is Jack Ryan the series, and it's gonna be on Amazon. And I think a lot of people weren't really expecting, you know, this to come out. I mean, Jack Ryan he's a Tom Clancy character, isn't he?
Yeah, it is Tom Clancy.
Yeah, there it is, right there. Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan
with Jack Reacher. And I'm like, Jack, why they do it to you? It's not Jack Reacher, it's Jack Ryan.
No, it's Jack Ryan. You know, like
all these Jacks.
Yeah, you know, he was played by Alec Baldwin. Obviously, he was also played by Harrison Ford. So I was never really a big, you know, Jack Ryan fan. But I know for a lot of people, you know, this probably really moves the needle of like interest for them, because Jack Ryan was a really, really good character. One of the best characters that I think Tom Clancy came up with. So that'll be something to keep your eye out on. Junkies, do let us know what you think of all of these trailers that we're showing. You see, speaking of our sci-fi hits thing, Fallen Marvel actually had a very good comment. He said he thinks the movie Transcendence messed things up for a while. I don't remember Transcendence, and it probably was pretty bad, but
Was that Johnny Depp?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. I think you're right. Yeah, Johnny Depp, and that one wasn't well received, but I think it was just a wave of over affected, like the movies that had too many effects, and that's why sci-fi is like kind of like not hitting right now. But the next one that I wanted to talk about was a new Marvel show, but this one isn't going to be on Netflix. It's not going to be on ABC. It's going to be on Hulu, and that's The Runaways. And The Runaways was a very, very popular comic book series in the late '90s. And it was based around these kids of parents, and their parents ended up being a cadre of supervillains, like a cult of supervillains.
Holy crap!
They had
what that was about.
Yeah, so they basically discovered that their parents weren't all that they thought they were going to be, and they ended up running away, and they had to find a way to defeat their own parents. I mean, imagine the emotions that you'd have to go through to run away from your parents, one, who are coming after you trying to kill you, and then to turn around, you rise up and you fight them, and it's like the ultimate teenage rebellion story. You know what I mean?
Are they mutants?
Some of them happen to be extraterrestrials. I think one of them is a mutant. Yes. One is a magic wielder. I don't remember all of the particulars about all of their power sets, but I know that this one was a very highly anticipated this is a very, very highly anticipated series that people were waiting on. The Runaways.
I can tell you one thing. I'm confused, and I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
Some of them are mutants, and some of them are magic powers. The ones that are mutants, they are in the X-Men universe, correct?
Typically, yes and no.
Yes, and is this a Fox run show?
It's not.
It's not being done by Fox. So
no, this is a Marvel Studios show. Yeah. Okay, so they're not mutants in the they're not mutants in that.
It would confuse the living crap out of me, because if you got a mutant who found out that the parents are evil, and you got Professor Xavier, who's the strongest telepath in the world, he'd know that a mutant needs his help, who's a teenager, who he runs a school for gifted mutants, and I'm pretty sure he'd help them out. So that it seems kind of confusing.
No, I totally get that. Let's see. I think we had one more trailer.
You didn't mention Future Man. I was freaking excited to see that. That looks like it's going to be interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. So the other thing that kind of came out of New York City Comic Con is the return of Milestone Comics. Milestone Comics is finally coming back. And we actually have some details that actually came out of Motor City Comic Con. So, I was going to kind of bring the junkies up to speed about Milestone Comics. Obviously, if you are not familiar with what Milestone Comics is, you are familiar with probably their most popular character, or characters, I should say. And leading the pack of that one is Static Shock. You may remember it had his own cartoon series back in the late 90s, early 2000s. He was also in Young Justice, and also in Young Justice were his fellow Milestone Media characters, Icon and Rocket. And they were, Milestone Media is a people of color imprint. Milestone Media is a people of color imprint. They focus on minority characters, and they develop them, and it's something that people have been clamoring for a long time, especially in today's climate, right? We hear a lot of people talking about Marvel's doing too much. They're changing Thor into a woman. They're changing Spider-Man into a black kid. They're changing Miss Marvel into a Muslim kid. The Hulk is an Asian kid now. They're forcing all this diversity on top of us, right? And people say, the people that speak out against that say, well, just develop your own characters and we'll follow them. Milestone was kind of like the blueprint for that back in the early 90s. So it's finally coming back. Static Shock is going to be is obviously leading the pack, but we also have Icon and Rocket leading the pack. But let's see, they're gonna reboot Static again. Remember, even in the New 52, he had a book, and it lasted all of 6 issues, which is a damn shame. But they're rebooting Static again, and the other thing about the Milestone universe is going to be its own Earth. One of the 52 Earths that are established in the multiverse, Milestone is going to be its own. It's not going to be part of the DC Universe Major, which I think is kind of a cop out. I don't really like that.
Gotta keep them separated.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, man. I just don't understand. Like, why do they have to be separate? I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. But I guess maybe it's to let the the stories flourish without having to be hampered by the other legendary DC heroes or something like that. But I'm just happy that they're doing it. So I guess I can take that. So, but this other book that I wanted to talk about besides Static, well, one of the things in Static that I wanted to talk about was that they're going to have the girl that you see on the screen right now. You know how in every kind of minority owned or a majority minority city, urban city, there's always like a couple of there's like a splattering of like white families that can't afford to move out. And like they have to stay or don't want to move out. Yeah. Well, this character here, her name is Amber, and she's going to be in Dakota along with Static, and she's going to be a superhero in the city too. So I'm guessing that they're going to. Hey, thanks for the follow. Appreciate that. They're going to be interacting with one another. So we'll actually see how that dynamic plays out. But there was this other book, right? Let me float this one out to you. Greg Pak is one of the writers that's going to be joining Milestone Media when they start up again. And he, you may be familiar with his work because he wrote the blockbuster book, Incredible Hulk book, Planet Hulk. He wrote that entire thing,
which is coming to theaters near you.
Yep. Gamerized Nerd. Yes, we absolutely did. At least I did. We loved the Flash episode. It was really, really good. Make sure you leave us your comments and we can talk about that later. But the Greg Pak is writing a book and it's called Duo, and it's a mini series, right? Starring an Asian American married couple, right? Named Jake and Julie Chan. Here's the twist, right? They're a couple, but due to a scientific accident, they are forced to live in one body for the rest of their entire lives.
Oh, it's kind of like a Firestorm.
Well, yes and no. Because
you think when they masturbate, they have sex?
I hadn't gone there. I literally had not gone there at all.
Seems feasible.
Absolutely, yeah. No, it does seem feasible. You're right. I mean, just totally derailed it. But no, I thought it was really interesting for them to. I thought it was really interesting for them to bring that up and make that one of the things that they go to, having an Asian American couple. Well, and the other thing too is that I guess as a side effect, they're actually immortal and they can't separate. So like, imagine having to live like every time your partner feels something, you feel it, right? Imagine being that intimate with someone and being trapped in that body. You feel what they feel. You know what they think at all times. Like literally, would you really want to be that? How do you become an individual at that point? Like they can't hide their thoughts from each other. Like say, like what if the husband has control of the body, right? And he walks by and he sees this really fly looking chick walking down the street. She's like, damn, she looked fine. The wife is in his head. She knows what he's thinking, man. I mean, yeah, that could be something else. But Reginald Hudlin, who wrote Black Panther and kind of relaunched Black Panther in the early 2000s. Is also on board, and he's going to be writing a mini series starring an all-female cast, and it's of planetary protectors, like I guess basically the Justice League, but they're all women, and they all have special abilities and super strength, like all of them. Like I'm looking at the I'm gonna go back to the cover, and this is the cover right here, led by a black woman. Her second in command looks like an Asian American. You got a Muslim American woman there, probably. Looks like maybe even a couple of Latinos, white girl, Caucasians, also part of the group. So I mean, it looks like it's gonna be pretty interesting. Milestone Comics. Okay, so I'm very much looking forward to Milestone coming out, and that's gonna be sometime next year. But let's go ahead and get back to some of the news that's going to be coming out this week. One of the things that or some of the things I should say that are going to be coming out this week, and one of those things is going to be this Friday in the movie theaters. It's Friday the 13th, actually. It's the what is it called? I forget. I'm drawing a blank now. It's Happy Death Day. Not Happy Birthday, Happy Death Day. I guess yeah. I guess it's all about this woman. She is, yeah. It's like, well, no, she's basically, it's like, think Scream and Groundhog Day. Like, she dies every time she dies. She wakes up then and starts the day all over again.
Oh, great, another one.
Yeah, another one. Yeah. I
have no problem with movies being, trying to do something new, but the Groundhog's Day thing is, I don't think that's really new. It's gonna be a horror movie that's gonna kind of suck because people gotta die, and unless she's, I don't know. It seems like it's okay. I would try to watch it. The last two movies that came out that had a Groundhog's Day type thing, which was Ark on Netflix, and what's the name of the other one with Marlon Wayans? It just came out also on Netflix. I sat down and watched them both, so I'll see this.
You'll see it.
And also watch that Die Repeat. What was it called? Tom Cruise. Live Die Wash Rinse Repeat.
Yeah, no, Live. No, it's just Live Die Repeat, dude. But no, the makers of the producers of Get Out were behind this film, so I think it's going to be Jordan Peele. I think Jordan Peele might have had a hand in this. I don't know, but it caught my interest. I thought it looked pretty interesting, so I might go and see it. Of course, another movie that's coming out this weekend is Professor Marston and the Wonder Woman. Which is all about William Moulton Marston, who created Wonder Woman, and the relationship that he had with two women that inspired her creation. So that might also be something to go look forward to. But obviously, without question, one of the bangs of the week for me is the Foreigner, starring Jackie Chan. This movie,
yeah. That's this Friday. That looks like it's gonna be really good.
This movie, dude, incredible. I've been on this movie for at least a month and a half. I can't wait to go see this thing. Like, I gotta go see it in the movie theater. It looks really dope. What did you think of the trailer last time you saw it?
Well, there's two things, and I'm gonna elaborate on both. I'm gonna elaborate on my thoughts, and then I'm gonna elaborate on people who I think are weird. It looks like it's gonna be great. I watched Jackie Chan movies since, of course, I was a kid, but I typically watched either the ones that came out in the theater over here, and every once in a while ones that were movies primarily that were, for Hong Kong audiences that we eventually got, right? So, but most of the movies that I saw are all not serious movies, but this is the first time I've ever seen Jackie Chan in like a serious role. People were saying Police Story was serious. Like, I think it still has some funny stuff in it, but this really seems like it's his darkest role.
Yeah.
It looks like it's going to be really cool to watch. It, of course, again, it reminds me of Liam Neeson's and his Taken, except for he can't get his daughter back, but it's very similar to you underestimate somebody who you didn't know has skills for a whole entire army all by himself. He's one-man army. Same thing with Liam Neeson's. And I want to see, I like those stuff. Yeah, it's a Key and Peele thing. They call him Liam Neeson, so I'm gonna continue to call him that, and I think that's kind of cool. But one of the things that you guys out there, and maybe you guys can explain it to me, that I hear that people are pissed off that Jackie Chan's in this role. Now, a lot of people know it's.
Okay, yeah, yes, I remember the controversy. Yeah, go ahead.
Vietnamese. The character's Vietnamese. And Jackie Chan's not Vietnamese, and I'm just like, okay, I understand why people say stuff like that, but again, what is acting? From last I checked, is a person who is real portraying a character who is not. So this is also a freaking fictional book that's not even written by a person, from my understanding, who is Chinese or Vietnamese. So what does it matter? It's Jackie Chan. He's an own name. He has the skills to pay the bills, and I'm going to go see it.
Yeah, I mean, we could talk about, we could talk about it till we're blue in our face that, the whole whitewashing, thing or whatnot. You know, Gamerized Nerd is our newest follower over there on Twitch. He said that, you know, seeing this movie shows that action, you know, really knows no age. And, you know, he also agrees with you. He thinks Jackie Chan is fitting for the role based on what he saw. I mean, I thought so. I can't imagine anybody else other than Jet Li being, you know, in this role and pulling it off and doing really well with it. I mean, really, it looks sweet. We got some of the junkies over on Facebook. They're talking about Dragon Ball Super episode 110, which was actually a phenomenal episode if you haven't seen it. But we got so much more to talk about. We can't really waste our time on that. One of the things that's one of the games that's getting ready to come out this week is obviously on Friday the 13th is going to be The Evil Within 2, number 2. It's getting ready to come out.
Oh boy.
Yeah. I mean, come on now. We expected this. We did. We expected this. Come on. Scary movies out on Friday the 13th. Yeah, all good games get sequels. But I asked this of Super Nerd Plus when he was on the show, I think a couple of weeks ago, that this game was getting ready to come out. What do you think of The Evil Within? Did you play the first one? I never got to play it, honestly.
Yeah, I got it sitting over there in my collection looking at me, but as you know, I own it.
Yeah, I haven't played it.
Right. So, like, I'm so sorry that I'm that type of gamer that has a job, a full-time job, and a wife and
kids. Oh, sorry. No, that's me.
I don't have kids.
That's me. No, that's me. I've got kids. Sorry. Yeah.
I'd love to sit down because I really do want to play it, but then I got backlog. Man, I went back to start playing Ninja Gaiden Sigma. And as you guys may or may not know, there is a Ninja Gaiden 2. I believe there's a Ninja Gaiden 2 Sigma, and then there's a Ninja Gaiden 3. And I'm going to play Ninja Gaiden Sigma because I have not finished that game.
You gonna Twitch him?
It's been on my. Oh yeah, I'm gonna Twitch him next time I get a sit down to play. But Evil Within is in that list, and one of the things that I'm going to be doing for you junkies out there is I'm going to be Twitching my collection, and Evil Within is going to be on there if it happens to come up, because I have a randomizer, and I'm going to sit down with a game and play that game to completion. Right now it's Ninja Gaiden Sigma. And then after Sigma, we'll see where it goes.
Nice. All right, cool, man. So the other game that is coming out this week, the only other big name game really worthy talking about, is the sequel to Shadow of Mordor, which is Shadow of War. I remember playing this game when the first one came out. I think it was like 3 or 4 years ago. I can't remember. Really well done game. I love the action. I don't want to say RPG elements of it because it wasn't really RPG. Well, I guess it kind of was an RPG.
Didn't it play more like Arkham Asylum, if I remember correctly?
It played like Arkham Asylum, but it did have RPG elements to it. So, but yeah, the game was really well done. I remember myself and Megashawn, we played it a lot. We thought it was really fun. This game looks like it's going to be kind of more of the same. So, yeah, this game's getting ready to come out, and I think it's going to be fantastic. Honestly, to be perfectly honest, I think.
Yeah, I mean, the first one did most definitely look great. It's another game. They gave it away for free, so I didn't have to buy it this time. And it's sitting on, I don't know if it's my PlayStation or Xbox. I think it's the PlayStation 4. So that's also going to get put into that rotation because I have just the way it is right now. I literally could sit in front of that TV 24/7 before I even scratch the surface. So just keep looking out. That schedule is coming for all you guys to see here on Culture Junkies, specifically on Twitch. You guys on Twitch, follow us.
Absolutely.
You'll see some awesome stuff.
Yeah, absolutely, you will. I'm going to be twitching some stuff too, as well. Actually, this weekend I got to play the Battlefront 2 beta, and I enjoyed it. They extended it. It's still going on, so I actually might get to play it a little bit longer. I'm looking forward to that. I usually stick to the Starfighter battles. I prefer those because I love flying X-wings and shit like that. And so, I mean, it is what it is. So, but. Yeah, I'll probably be streaming some of that, maybe even later on tonight or tomorrow for sure. But let's see. Let's talk about the trailers, actually, as we saw on the screen. Obviously, the biggest news this weekend that came out were the trailers for both Justice League and and Star Wars: The Last Jedi. Let's talk about Justice League first. It's up on the screen. Let's go ahead and yeah, let's talk about it. What did we think of the trailer? What did you think of the trailer? What did you think of the trailer? As far as like
go see the movie.
Well, I know that. I know you're gonna go see the movie, but what did you think of the
and it looks like it's going to be a lot more fun, I guess, than the other ones. And I hope they polish up that CG because it looks worse than freaking, the prequels.
My man.
It looks worse than the freaking prequels of Star Wars. Like it's shot on a gigantic blue or green screen. And it's just like, I get it. Some of the stuff you can't do practically. Well, maybe you can. I don't know. It would look even worse if you done practically. I get it. I get it. But gosh, you got the money and the time to make it look amazing. It's just a trailer, so hopefully we're seeing what the trailer looks like.
Right.
And when it comes out, they clean that stuff up. You just gotta clean it up, man. Gotta clean it up. But that's not saying the movie's gonna be bad and not enjoyable. I want people to understand that. It looks like it's going to be an enjoyable movie, specifically Aquaman, because after Adult Swim had the dancing Aquaman, Aquaman started to become popular again by shaking his ass. Now everybody wants to be Aquaman, and Jason Momoa looks like he's going to be shaking his ass on the screen for you ladies out there. And you know it.
Shaking his ass on the screen for all the ladies. Okay. We're getting some comments on Facebook and on Twitch. Gamerized Nerd says it doesn't look as dark, thank God. Although, I mean, in some instances, it does actually kind of look just as dark. Anthony Mentors over on Facebook, he says he thinks he's calling it Justice League is going to rebound from BVS. But, I mean, I think Wonder Woman kind of did that already. So, Marcus Smith says he wishes they left out any Superman references at all. And I can understand that. I can totally understand that.
They need to bring it back with the mullet, though.
No mullets.
I want mullet Superman.
No mullet Superman, please.
Bring him back.
No mullet Superman.
Have him all black. I want the mullet.
Yeah, no. I think and Gamerized Nerd agrees with you, and I'll throw in my 2 cents as well. My feelings on the trailer was it was overly CG. It was like everywhere. I mean, honestly, it looked like this thing was shot on the green screen and on the blue screen back to back. You know what I mean? I don't know. As far as this trailer goes, they didn't really show a whole lot. And I think maybe that means that Warner Brothers was listening to everybody when they said that they kind of fucked up with Batman vs Superman's trailers and revealed a little bit too much. They really played it close to the vest on this trailer, and I think they did a good job. I have to give them some applause. I think they did a good job. They didn't show anything.
I think they did an okay job, but I'm going to tell you one thing. You know who the villain is from all those flying fucking things around it. You know who the villain is, right? I
mean, come on. Well, no, it's it's going to be Darkseid related. But it's Steppenwolf. Steppenwolf is the villain.
It's going to be Steppenwolf, and they're going to freaking squeeze some Darkseid in there, Thanos style.
They said no. Well, you're right.
If they do it Thanos style, like
you're right.
Come on.
You're right. Hey, but look, you know what? The correlation between this and the Avengers, ever since Joss Whedon came on, has been getting a little bit closer and closer. If you look at it, those all-in posters that they have, compare them. I mean, somebody already did this on, I think it was either on Reddit or something like that, but somebody already did the side-by-side comparison between the Avengers posters and the Justice League posters. Like, stylistically, they are the same. Like, literally, like, same poses and everything. I think it's pretty cool.
Can't beat them, join them.
Right. Anthony Mentor is posting kind of like almost, I want to say, an unpopular opinion. He thinks that he's liking this version of the Flash over the CW's version of the Flash.
And oh yeah, thank you for mentioning that, Mr. Mentor there, because that is something that I was looking forward to. That's who I think Barry is to be, and he seems like that kind of character, and supposedly the comics, of course, and the cartoons, of which that I really like. He doesn't seem like a fucking whiny bitch. Excuse me for those out there who are offended by that word, but that's what he seems like to me. And this Flash looks like he's going to be that Flash that I'm looking for. So maybe it'll rub off on the TV Barry just a little bit,
right?
Just a little bit.
Well, now you remember all of the crying about Ezra Miller when you first got cast. Like, he looks too effeminate. He's not going to be a very good Barry. I'll admit, I was the same way. But at the same time, I did say I'll give him a chance. I would like to see what he can do. As supposedly he's a very competent actor. He's going to be, he's going to be good. Anthony Minter's wife, Tony Minter, says that she enjoys the movie Flash. She thinks he's more fun. So I mean, there's something to be said for it. I mean, overall, this movie looks like. Okay.
I'm sorry, Tony Minter is your wife, and your name's Anthony Minter.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, that is.
You got a kid named Tony? You got Tony?
Let's see. Fallen Marvel says that he seems to him more like Wally, so he's not sure how he feels about him. And I can see a lot of Wally in him as someone that's read a lot of Flash books. So I can see a lot of Wally in him. I can see that. I can definitely see that. So I don't know. She just laughed out loud. She thought it was funny that you thought that.
Yeah, you got it. And put the E on the end with the little.
Absolutely. With the accent. Yes. Yes. With the accent. Yes. That's gonna be sweet.
That's super awesome though, for real. I really like that.
Right. Gamerized Nerd is kind of pushing back a little bit on this hate for the TV version of the Flash. He said the TV series said it's going to be a lighter, more upbeat tone for season 4. So we'll see about that. Said Tony and Anthony Minter says he's working on it. Go ahead now, bro. Go ahead now. Just remember where you got the name inspiration from. The great Dadakuji over there. This guy right here. Yeah, that's who you got it from. So, in any case, let's. We're all looking forward to Justice League. I'm still tempering my expectations. I'm not gonna get too high. I'm not gonna get like completely blown away. I just want to go in and just remain even keeled. I want them to do good. I really do. Man, you know what? With Joss Whedon at the helm, I have a lot more confidence in it. So let's move on to Star Wars. Star Wars just came out yesterday, halftime of Monday Night Football. What can you say about this trailer, dude? It was...
Well, it doesn't look like it's copying any other old Star Wars movies, but I know what the fans are not going to like, or what they make it fun of, is like the new Ewok is showing up, or the new Jar Jar, or the new whatever.
Porgs.
Pogi.
Yeah. Porgs.
Porgs. Pogi, if I remember correctly, means handsome in Filipino Tagalog. So I guess maybe that's where they got that name from, because it's supposed to be cute or something. I don't know. But as for the trailer, I wasn't gonna watch it, but then I did, and I'm glad they didn't seem like they were giving a lot away, because again, like we were saying, that they put too much in trailers that give away a lot of stuff, and I didn't feel like I got that at all. I didn't feel like I got that, and I'm kind of happy.
Yeah, and I think there was that kind of false report that they said this trailer was supposed to be like super spoilerific, or whether and the director came out and said that no, I never said that. That's a false report. So I was a little bit afraid at first to watch this trailer, but I'm glad I did watch it. I mean, because dude, this thing was fantastic, man. And say what you will about Star Wars trailers, they can lead you down different paths. I mean, with creative editing, so you never really know who's talking to who's talking to what. There's already a whole bunch of theories out there, breaking down this trailer, trying to say who's doing what's going to happen, all that other kind of stuff. Let's take it piece by piece. What did you think about first? Let's see the scene where they thought, Gamerized Nerd just brought it up. He kind of stole my thunder, dude. The scene where it looks like Ben Solo is flying his TIE fighter, and looks like he's getting ready to kill Leia or something like that, because he's talking about kill the past and stuff like that. What do you think of that scene, dude?
Well, being the fact that and why is it coming across my brain? I hate when that happens. Good Lord. What's her name? Actress? So
Carrie
this is what
Fisher.
happens when you get old, kids. Don't get old.
Carrie Fisher.
Thank you, Carrie Fisher. Being the fact that Carrie Fisher passed away, they probably needed to end her character, and that kind of sucks, because I saw a blurb on the internet, didn't read the article, that Mark Hamill said that she was supposed to have a lot more to do in it. So
in episode 8.
If they are going to kill her. It's unfortunate, but there's not much they can do with the character.
Well,
unless they CG her, which
yes, I was just about to say they could do that. They could do that.
They're not gonna do that because I guess it's too soon. Because they've only been CGing dead people if they're like 30, 40 years dead or what have you. But I mean, if it helps push the story along, why not? I mean, you don't have to keep everybody alive. I understand that they're trying to do a little, because if you think about it, the new Star Wars films, they're doing something different than George Lucas run films. Love it or hate it, it's a little bit more darker and a lot less meant for everybody and kiddies or whatnot. So, it's just another chapter and another book, and I'm fine with it. I'm fine with whatever they're doing, just as long as I'm entertained. If the movie doesn't suck or I feel like I wasted my time, I'm great.
Right. So, what did you think of the scene with Finn facing down Captain Phasma? What do you think is going on there?
I don't get why she's even alive, and I don't know why they're trying to force a rivalry. Because we all saw the other movie, and he left, and they threw her in a trash compactor, and apparently she got off the friggin' moon before it blew up. Okay, whatever. But I think that just from that, it seems like they're trying to give Finn something to do, because after Rey found out what she's supposed to do, Finn doesn't even need to be there at all. Because had they made Finn more of a if they made him like a Jedi and you just didn't know anything about it, or you just happen to have two force sensitive people and they end up training together or something that didn't happen, then I understand. I don't even get why Finn's there at all, seriously. Not saying I don't like the character, I don't get why he's there. I don't get why anybody would be in that situation at all, like, because she went off on her own to find Luke, and I don't know. We'll find out. Can't say.
Yeah, we'll absolutely. Yeah, we're definitely going to find out for sure. I mean, because I guess that was one of the things that stood out to me too. Is like, okay, now that Rey is like on her path and they're not like palling around together, what is Finn's significance? Where does he fit in with all of this? Like, is he being groomed as the Han Solo like replacement? I mean, I guess I can see that. That makes a little bit more sense. And that would be fine with me, because you kind of need. I mean, you don't need to fill in those gaps, but if you're gonna have a certain formula, which apparently Star Wars kind of is, doing, why not? Okay. Yeah, I can see that. How does it feel seeing Luke finally back on the screen after like all this time? And he doesn't feel like Luke? Yeah, I can see that. I mean, because he's so much older. We didn't get to see him go through his trials and his adventures of being a Jedi and resurrecting the Jedi Order. But him kind of like being afraid of Rey's supposed power is another mystery. Like, who is he referring to? Is he referring to when he says, I've seen this power before and I wasn't afraid then and I am now. Like, is he talking about Ben? Is he talking about Ben Solo? Is he talking about Snoke? Is he talking about the Emperor? There's a lot of theories going on out there. I don't know, who they could be talking about.
One won't know until December 15th, and all those other people that got to go see it early. But yeah, because if he's talking about Rey, maybe that's the reason why he hid her away. Personally, I think that's dumb as shit, because like, if you're the last person who supposedly studied the way of the Jedi, you are the best bet for her to be. She should have been around you 24/7. He didn't even do a freaking Obi-Wan Kenobi. He didn't even put her on the same planet. He's there in the shadows making sure nothing happens. He just said bye and just kind of like left her there. That's an asshole move.
I mean, we don't know if it was really him that left her on the planet.
We don't, but I'm pretty sure the way it seems it came off that it was Luke that fucking left her there. He left her there and he was like, I can't handle this. I'm done. I can't do it. Somebody else paid the child support. I can't do it.
Wow, somebody else paid the. So you know what? I guess that's the other mystery. Who is her parents? Because she doesn't even know. Like, do we think it's Luke's kid? I moved off of that. I don't think it's Luke's kid. I don't even think it's I don't. She could be anybody's kid. Anybody that she was, that Luke was training at the end of before the Jedi Temple fell. She could be anybody.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm really excited myself as a avid movie watcher. You know, when it comes to trailers,
Right.
I try not to look too much into them because Highlander, it was a Highlander.
Yes, the Final Dimension, I think it was.
Yeah, whatever it was called. You know, that trailer lied to me, and I think I lost all hope in trailers. I get excited by looking at them, but I don't read into any of them anymore.
I got you. Yeah. So anyway, guys, it's after 10. We went a little bit over because we wanted to make sure we talked about Star Wars and get the rest of the show in. But we want to thank you all for joining us tonight. It's been a fantastic show. Daido Kuji, great job today, sir.
I give myself a pat on my hand, not my back. We did a good job. It was good. It was nice talking with you.
Right. Tony Mentor, it was both Tonys, I should say, Tony and Tony. It was nice to see you all again. Gamer as Nerd, our newest follower over there on Twitch, thank you very much for the follow. We appreciate it. We're here every Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 p.m. Central Time. We're also going to start doing a little more twitching. So if you want to do that, if you want to check us out when we do that, make sure you come back, follow us on Twitter, and we can get you can get our updates when we're going to go live doing stuff. Let's see, next week we've got a lot of stuff also to talk about. We got a few things in the mix, so we're kind of gonna oh, actually no, this weekend we're supposed to go to Ready Player One. It's finally getting ready to open. We're going to go to a soft open. It's opening. It's getting ready to open. I can't wait to go. It's gonna be fantastic. Those of you that don't know, Ready Player One is the barcade that's getting ready to open in downtown Detroit, run by our friends YL and Muhammad, and we're very excited to go. We're gonna bring you some footage of that as well. Maybe we'll have them on the show next week. What do you think?
That seems like it's great. Maybe we can do a live stream from Ready Player One if time allows, if they let us do it.
Sure, we'll have to set that up. But anyway, guys, we're going to let you go ahead and enjoy the rest of your week. Thank you all for joining us. Make sure you tell your friends about us, and see you guys next week. Peace out.
Bye-bye, everybody.